Hello, my name is Paul Cefalou and I'm the author of AppCreator Pro. AppCreator is an iPhone application that is available on the Apple App Store right now. So, AppCreator is a programming language that I created that allows anybody to create full-featured iPhone applications on the iPhone without the use of a Mac or a PC. All editing, all creation is done on the iPhone. So, this video is a tutorial video to give you a tour of AppCreator Pro. And there'll be other videos that follow which will have descriptions on how to use AppCreator Pro to create everyday applications. So let's get started. Okay, this is the main menu of AppCreator Pro when the application loads. You'll see that there is a Create and Edit Project option, a Publish Menu option, Help Documents option, MSC Website option, and About AppCreator option. All right, so we'll get into the Create Edit Project in a moment. But let's look at the Publish menu. The Publish menu is where you'll have the published applications that you created that you'll be using every day. So as we go to that menu, you see that I've created 4 categories that you can store the applications that you create. And so right now, if we go to the Applications menu, you'll see that there are no applications because we haven't created any yet. All right, and the others are the same. Okay, now there's the Help Documents section, and this uses an HTML format for help documents. And as you can see, it has all the information, talks about projects. All right, there are links to take you to all different sections. Okay, so that's the help documents, and these documents are growing every day as we add more information and more capability to AppCreator. This accesses the AppCreator website, so it's a convenient way to get at the app site, but if you prefer, you could still use your favorite browser. And we have the different sections on the website. Is Home, News, Support, Contact, and About. So let's look at Create Edit of a project. You'll notice that there are 3 templates: Basic Application, Images Application, and Utility Application. These are the templates that you start with when you create a project. You'll also notice at the bottom there are 4 tabs. There's the Templates, there's an Examples tab, there's a Projects tab, which right now has no projects, and there's a Sandbox tab. So the Sandbox is where you'll have all the applications that you're working on, and that's where you have your creative process. The Projects tab is where you'll store applications that you've finished and you've taken them out of the sandbox, and they'll be stored here in the projects. The examples are projects that I've provided for you as a starter to give you an idea how to use certain things, and you can actually start from an example and expand on the example if you'd like. And the templates is where we keep the 3 templates at this point. Like I say, we'll be adding more templates as time goes on. So the basic application is the starting point for all AppCreator Pro projects. The Images application is built from basic application, and the utility application is also built from basic application. So let's look at the basic application first. If you need to know, before we go there, if you need to know what each item does, you just select the information option and it'll give you a description summary of what each one of those options does in the project and so forth. All right, so let's go look at the basic one. When we select the basic application, it gives us the option to create as new, view only, or cancel the request. Now, you can choose view only, but you won't be able to make any changes to the template. You'll just be able to view sections of it, look at it, and so forth. But if you want to be able to create and make changes to the template, then you'll have to select create new. And this makes a copy of the template in your sandbox. Okay, so a copy has been made in the sandbox, and now it's ready for editing. You'll see that there are 3 options: project info, displays, and modules. You'll also see up at the top, it tells you that you're in the application development section. This is editing a project, and you'll see that we're in edit mode instead of view mode, and that the default name assigned to this project is new project-1. Okay. You'll also notice up at the top, there is off to the right, you'll see a symbolic look of a book, and this is also where you would get help at any time on using any of the components that you may have a problem with. Okay. So as you can see, the I is here, and this will give you a description of your project, and this is the basic project. All right. So now if you look at the displays, you'll see that there's a number 1 over at the on the right hand side of the option. You see that there's a 1. That 1 means that there's 1 form available. If there were 2 forms or 3 forms, you'd see the number 2 or 3 there. Modules, same idea. In this case, there's only 1 module, and so forth. Now, right now, you have a full functioning iPhone application right now. If I select play, okay, you will get a splash screen. And right now, the only thing this application does is display a form. There are no widgets on the form. There are no options for the buttons at the bottom. But you do get tells you the name of the program up top. In this case, it's new project-1. It also gives you an option to an about. Okay, that's created for you automatically. So as you can see, this is a full functioning app. There's also an advisory area that's right below the project, and I can show you that by, you'll see that says this exit request cancel. That's your advisory area. You have access to that. You can display messages and so forth that you need to tell the user of the app any information at all. All right, so let's exit the app. All right, and let's go and look at the project section. In the project section, you'll see that this is where anywhere where you see an I is our options that you can modify. Okay. In this case, it'll give you the ability to change the name of the project, to change the icon of the project. You can change the author's name. You can change the update, when the creation date, the last time was modified, and the version. And you'll notice at the bottom, if you look on the left-hand side at the bottom, you see it says edit. If this were view mode, you'd see the word view here instead of edit. This has 2 forms, 2 views available on this 1 form. And that's displayed down at the bottom by the number of dots, and you'll see 1 of 2. And essentially, you just swipe to the left, and you see the other option available. The startup form is, you may have several forms, but you may want one of them to start up. So, and this is where you select that form. You can have a description, and so forth. So that was the basic project information. Now let's look at the displays. If we go to the display section, this takes us to a menu, and this menu lists all the forms that you have in your project. In this case, there's only 1 form because it said we only have 1 form. If you want to know something about the form, just select the I, and it'll give you a brief description of what that form does. Okay. So in this case, if we wanted to add more forms, we essentially select Add, and then we have an option of selecting from our personal library or the AppCreator library. In this case, we'll take the AppCreator library. And right now we only have one basic form available to us, but there will be more as time goes on. We will make more available to you with more features and more options. All right, so let's say cancel because we already have the one form that we need. Let's go view the form. Now this takes us into the form editor, and from the form editor we can modify attributes to the form. We can modify form views, widgets, variables, functions, and events. If you want to know what views, widgets, variables, functions, and events are, that information is available in other tutorials called Layout Tutorial or Programming Introduction Tutorial. Right, so as you can see in this case, there are no views, no widgets, no variables, no functions, but there are 3 events. The 3 events are single tap, double tap, and change view. So when you swipe to the left and you change the view, you will get an event. And if you double tap on the form, you'll get an event. And if you single tap on the form, you'll get an event. Again, notice at any time, up in the right-hand corner, help is always available to you, all the time. All right, so let's see. We have here, so let's look at the form attributes. The form attributes have to do with all the features of the forms. The icon that's going to be displayed for the form name that you'll use in your application. You'll have when this form was created, when it was updated, the version of this form. This form has 8 this section has 8 views. So each view describes another portion of the form. You can change the background color. You can have user tag variables. You can have a description of the form. There's wallpaper, so that you might want to have a background of, say, food or a restaurant or some object of some kind. And you can change the opacity so it's very, very light and clear, so it looks like a hologram. This tells you that you have no widgets, and on this one, this is the order of how controls are created. So, if you have a switch, a panel, and a label, you can determine from here which one gets done first, which one gets done second, and which one gets rendered third. This section takes care of the advisory status. It enables the toolbar at the bottom, and you can also have a color, foreground color and a background color for the toolbar. Your toolbar can work in 2 ways. It can be either as a momentary or as a latch and release. And this describes the 4 buttons on your toolbar. So if you don't want the advisory status, then selecting off here will disable the status. You won't see it. And if you don't want the toolbar, you'll do the same thing with this and it'll disable it. Again, the help is available up in the upper right-hand corner. All right. So now we have the next view talks about a password. Each form can have a password. You can require a password by selecting that, and you'll see it changes from a drawer to keys, which means this form you have to answer a password before you're allowed to view the form. And here where you see the I is where you enter the password. Now, you may want it so that every time you go to the form you have to enter the password, or you may only want it the very first time, and that's where you use this option here. Okay. This is where you have a list of reviews. Same idea as the control area. This determines what order the views are in. So if you have 5 views and you want them in a certain order, this is where you set the order of the views so that when you swipe, those are the views that you appear in that order. 8 is a special option where you can actually, the button you press that says the About information, If you have any of these options selected, like add to menu, it will give you an option to show the about or a menu, a list of forms that are available to you that you can go directly to. It's a convenient way to create a menu system, but if you want, you can always go to any form that you want by writing the information in the scripts that are available to you in AppCreator. Okay? All right, so that's the form attributes. Now, if I wanted to add a view, I would select the view option, and now I have to add a view. It says this has no views. If I wanted to add a view, I'd select add. I choose the creation library in this case, and I select the view. And this will put a view on the form. All right? Same idea with the widgets. Okay, this doesn't have any widgets at the time. So you have a selection of widgets which to choose. If you want to know what these widgets are, if you're not sure what they are, at any time you can always press the I and it'll give you a description. All right. Variables, same idea. I need to create a variable. You add, it gives you a choice of a string variable, a numeric variable. If you pick a string variable, create a string variable. If you pick a numeric variable, create a numeric variable. So we'll cancel out of that. Form functions. If you have functions that you want, same idea. All right. You select the add, and then it actually adds the function. Okay. And these are the events that we showed you a moment ago, and so forth. All right. So that is the forms editor. Okay. The views editor is the same thing, except it just deals with the view, and then you'll have a controls editor, which just deals with the control. Since we didn't create a control, then you won't see the control editor. So let's actually look at the view view editor. So we'll create a view. All right, we'll take the basic view. As you can see, a check mark is put there to tell you that that's the one you have. We'll select it, and now we have a view. Okay, and we can get a description of that view. And we can go and edit the view, and you'll see that the view editor is very similar to the forms editor. The only difference is that because this is a view, clearly you can't create views, but you will be able to view the attributes of the view. Okay, so let's look at the widgets. We'll create a widget to show you what the control editor looks like. So we'll pick a switch right now for the control, and we'll pick a label. Okay, we say done. And now as you can see, we have the two controls. If we want to know something about the controls, we just do that. Okay, we press the I, and it tells us about the two controls. All right, so let's go into the switch control. You'll see that in the switch control, you'll have the widget attributes. And then it talks about you can have variables or functions or events. In the switch, the event has two events: switch off, switch on. Okay. Same idea with creating variables, functions, and so forth. All right. So that is a quick tour of AppCreator Pro. The modules. In this case, we have one module, and you'll see that there's a description of the module. Module can have variables, so you can go and have the variables. In this case, there are no variables. You can access the functions. In this case, there are no functions. As always, the help is available up in the upper right-hand corner. And that's it. We press done. It'll tell us that we're going to leave the sandbox. We've left the sandbox. And now when we go into the sandbox option, you'll see that there is a project in the sandbox now that we created. Okay? So that's the quick tour of AppCreator Pro. And in the following videos, we will actually create applications. I hope this was helpful, and I look forward to seeing you soon. Thank you.